Every major meeting platform, Zoom, Teams, Google Meet, records your conversations and sends them to a server you don't control. That includes your client calls, your strategy sessions, your HR conversations. And most people just accept it. Ghost Pepper does something different. It transcribes your meetings, identifies who said what, and never sends a single byte of audio outside your machine. No API key. No cloud account. No terms of service that change next quarter. Let's talk about what that actually looks like in practice. You run Ghost Pepper locally. You give it an audio file or you record directly, and it runs two things simultaneously. First, it uses Whisper, OpenAI's open-source speech-to-text model, running entirely on your hardware. Second, it runs speaker diarization, which is the process of figuring out not just what was said, but who said it. So instead of getting a wall of text, you get a labeled transcript. Speaker 1 says this, Speaker 2 responds with that, with timestamps on every line. The output is clean and readable. You can see the conversation flow. You can search it. You can copy it into your notes or your project management tool without worrying that your audio just passed through 3 data centers in Virginia. What surprised me was how well the diarization holds up in real conditions. 2 speakers in a clean recording? Nearly perfect separation. 3 or 4 speakers? Still usable. It's not magic, it's Pyannote, another open-source library that's been quietly getting very good at this problem. The setup is Python-based, runs on CPU, and also takes advantage of GPU acceleration if you have it. On a modern laptop without a GPU, a 1-hour meeting takes roughly real time to process, so about an hour. With a GPU, that drops dramatically. But here's the thing, Ghost Pepper is not a polished product. It's a local tool built by a developer who had a specific problem and solved it. Which means there are real limitations you need to know about. It doesn't do live transcription. You can't plug it into your Zoom call and watch words appear in real time. You process audio after the fact, from a file. That's a meaningful constraint if your workflow depends on real-time captions. It also doesn't automatically identify speakers by name. You get Speaker 1, Speaker 2, not that's Matt or that's your client. You have to do that mapping yourself, after you read through the transcript. For short meetings, fine. For a 2-hour call with 5 people, that's tedious. The UI is minimal. If you're not comfortable running a Python script and managing a local environment, the barrier to entry is real. This is developer territory for now. And accuracy, while good, degrades with background noise, strong accents, or audio that wasn't recorded cleanly. Whisper handles accents better than most, but it's not immune. What could realistically improve here? A few things stand out. Speaker identification through voice profiles is the obvious next step. You train the system once on a few seconds of each person's voice, and it labels them by name going forward. The technology exists, Pyannote supports it, it just hasn't been wired up here yet. A browser-based UI would dramatically lower the barrier. Right now you need a terminal. Wrap this in a simple local web interface and suddenly it's accessible to a much wider audience: lawyers, journalists, researchers, people who need exactly this privacy guarantee but don't write Python. Real-time processing is technically possible with the right hardware. Whisper has streaming-compatible variants. It would take engineering work, but it's not speculative. And export formats: right now you get a transcript as text. Adding SRT captions, JSON with timestamps, or even a searchable HTML report would make it immediately more useful in professional workflows. So why does Ghost Pepper exist? Because the privacy problem with meeting transcription is real and almost nobody is solving it honestly. The commercial tools Otter.ai, Fireflies, even the built-in ones from Zoom and Teams, they all send your audio to their servers. Their business model depends on that. And for most consumer use, people don't care or don't think about it. But there's a category of conversation where that's genuinely not acceptable. Legal calls. Medical consultations. Competitive business discussions. Conversations with sources if you're a journalist. Conversations where the fact that someone said something at all is sensitive. Ghost Pepper was built because local AI has finally gotten good enough, specifically Whisper, which OpenAI released as open source in 2022, to make this actually work without a massive server farm. You can run a state-of-the-art transcription model on a laptop. That's a relatively new development, and Ghost Pepper is one of the first tools to combine it with diarization in a simple, self-hosted way. The verdict? It wins hard on privacy. It loses on polish and real-time capability. It lands squarely in the niche of developers and technically literate users who have conversations they genuinely don't want in someone else's cloud. For that audience, this is exactly what they need. Next episode, we're looking at a tool that does the opposite, fully cloud-native, optimized for scale, and surprisingly honest about the trade-offs. Subscribe if you don't want to miss that one.